Morning to everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. I am State Representative Charles Graham. I've had the honor to serve citizens across this state, including our Hispanic communities, for the past 12 years, 6 terms. And I gave up my seat to run for Congress. And I'm very excited about the opportunity to go to Congress and represent the Hispanic communities. Just a little bit about me. I'm a retired educator. I'm a business owner. And I'm very pleased to say that my wife is Hispanic. She's Peruvian. We've lived here in North Carolina, in southeastern North Carolina, Lumberton, for the longest time now. I'm just about to forget the number of years, but I can tell you, I have immersed myself with my wife and my family. I have 2 Hispanic Lumbee children, and my stepson, Paulo, is a Peruvian. He is an attorney practicing here in North Carolina. I've seen him make progress since he's been in this country. I was also honored to see my wife take the oath of citizenship in this country. That was a very honorable thing for me to be a part of. And I will tell the Hispanic community that many of my friends and our friends, my wife's friends, we have an opportunity to immerse ourselves weekly in the Hispanic community. We attend the Catholic Church, where a large portion of that congregation is Hispanic. I understand the needs of the Hispanic in our community and across this southeastern area: affordable housing, a job paying a decent salary. And let me say this, ladies and gentlemen, I have the experience and I have a voting record in the North Carolina House that has supported attempts against the GOP, anti-immigration, anti-Hispanic legislation. I have a history of devoting myself to that, and I'm honored to stand for the Hispanic community. Not only stand for the community, but be a part of it. So I'm Charles Graham. I'd like to have your support. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Buenos días. Mi nombre es Steve Miller. Yo soy un candidato para Congreso en el Distrito 7. By way of background, I was born in Brooklyn, New York. I went to college in Boston, did my PhD in chemistry at Georgetown University. I'm intimately involved with the workings of the United States Congress. I've been an expert witness up there on numerous occasions, especially in regard to energy and environmental issues. I will say something about immigration right now. I've been hammered left, right, and center on Facebook with my ads by the right wing, who claim all sorts of awful things are going on at the border in terms of President Biden's policies. They're very erroneous. I think what we need for sure, it's going to be a difficult road to hoe, is comprehensive immigration reform. Short of that, what we certainly will need at the border are more healthcare workers, more social workers, more healthcare workers. I think I said that already. And certainly more immigration judges to adjudicate the refugee requests far more often. And just as importantly, and I think the administration has made a beginning on this, and a fairly good beginning, we need more aid to the triangle countries where most of the people who seem to be coming to the border are coming from, and that's Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala. Finally, I'd like to say that domestically, it would be great for many people, not just the Hispanic community, to be able to have universal pre-K, so children can get a head start in their education. Working parents can have safe and inexpensive daycare. And finally, I would like to say that it would be wonderful to get a $15 per hour federal minimum wage. Thank you.
Good afternoon. As stated, I am Charles Davis. I'm running for the 7th Congressional District seat. I'm from Cumberland County, where I currently serve on the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners, have been for the past 12 years. And prior to that, I've served on the Fayetteville City Council for 2 terms, which is 4 years. I'm running for this office because I felt like other people have felt that our elected officials have not been responsive to the needs and the concerns of the citizens that they represent. And I have been just that as a representative on the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners as a city council. I have ran 3 terms for the Board of Commissioners, and I have been the top vote getter each time that I have ran. I believe in fairness, equality, and inclusiveness. of each and every resident or each and every person that I represent. And that was countywide. And so I ask for your support. I work on a number. I have concerns with affordable health care, affordable housing, criminal justice reform, veteran services, and a number of other issues that require attention from your representative. And I am that person. Please consider and vote for Charles Evans for Congress, 7th Congressional District.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is Representative Graham. As I said earlier, my family, my wife is Peruvian. We live and we immerse ourselves in the Hispanic Latino community here in Lumberton, Robeson County. And as I interact with these families throughout the course of my career in the General Assembly, I hear a lot of fear from these families. Number one, we need to give them a path to a driver's license. That is so much needed to have our Latino families who've been living here for years to have an opportunity to get a driver's license and to feel free to go shopping, to do the things they need in the communities. Number two, we need to do everything we can to stand against any immigration policy that sows fear in the minds of our immigrant Latino communities. For example, I voted to block a bill 5 years ago that was anti-discrimination. It was an ICE bill that sowed fear in the communities. And I heard that from many Latino families. So ladies and gentlemen, let me say this. If you want someone who can go to Washington, who understands the need of Latino community, I am that person. My family is Latino. My children are Latino Lumbee. And I'm very proud to say that. Many of our friends are Latino. I understand the needs of the community. I immerse myself in the community. We church together. We have family events together. And I'm so proud to say that. And I would be honored for the Latino community to elect me to go to Congress and be a voice for them in this upcoming election. It's going to be very important that we have voices in Washington who understand the Latino community, who have broken bread with the Latino community, who have friends as a Latino community. My children have more Latin friends than they do Lumbee friends. So I'm very pleased to be able to be an advocate for the Latin community in Congress.
Thank you, sir.
Talking about the DACA recipients, I don't know, there were about 630,000 of them. It's about time that we get some federal legislation to give those folks a path to citizenship. They came here not of their own volition, they were taken here. The only country they know is the United States. So let's start with that. There are about another 1.5 million or so potential DACA recipients, and many of them may be afraid to come forward and make their application. But let's deal with the DACA kids. I think that's absolutely essential. It's humane and it's the right thing to do. Second of all, let me talk about the Small Business Administration. They have all manner of grants and contracts and loans that they can make for minority communities. And I want to make sure that they are sufficiently funded so that they can take care of the Latinx community in terms of low interest loans, so they can get small businesses on the ground and up and running. In addition, the federal government has something called an 8A program, which sets aside about 5% a year for minority contractors. I think that program must be sustained and it must be increased. And by the way, minority at the federal government does not include women. It does at North Carolina. It includes a variety of ethnic minorities. Furthermore, I think we need more money from the federal government to go into local governments for bilingual education. I'm going to move ahead also to the denigration of Latinos coming across or coming from across the southern border. We have to have an education process, the federal government, to stop that denigration. I'm tired of hearing people from that neck of the woods called rapists and murderers and so on. We need to deal with that. Finally, I agree. We need to decriminalize at the federal level. Thank you.
Good afternoon. As I have said earlier when I was outlining the concerns that I have that I would like to present to as a representative in Congress. One of those, let me share this story with you. In Cumberland County, we have such a diverse group of individuals, which also includes the Latino community. What I have done as a commissioner have worked for the betterment of all communities, which would be including that of the Latino community. There was someone that just mentioned not too long ago about decriminalization of marijuana. What I have done, along working with our district attorney in Cumberland County, was set up a program, an expungement program, that individuals that have been convicted of crimes, not heinous crimes, but those with drugs and other criminal acts that is causing them from getting jobs, from going to school. And we set up that expungement clinic to help those individuals have their records cleared. I am proud to say we have done over 1,500 individuals that have gotten their records cleared. And this is something that I would like to take to Congress as your representative to make that automatic for those individuals that have made missteps in life. I believe in fairness and equality for all individuals and will work very hard to be inclusive of each and every citizen that I represent.
Thank you.
Been a pleasure to have be a part of this discussion. I want the Latino community to know that Charles Graham is a candidate for the 7th Congressional District who stood on the floor of the House of Representatives and who's advocated against those anti-immigration efforts by the GOP, and I will do the same thing in Congress. As I said earlier, my wife Norma and we are immersed in the Latino community every week. We understand the fears. I've been around those fears. I've heard those fears. And 2 things that I want to emphasize. 1, I will go to Congress and I will be a strong advocate for a path to citizenship. I will stand up and fight against any legislation or any proposals that would be against our DACA children who are young adults. And we need to be very sure that we are, as a party, standing up for an inclusive party as Democrats. And I certainly will do that. I've demonstrated that I can do that and will do that. Again, I am very proud of my Latino communities and families that I have friendships with, and I will do everything I can to protect them as a member of Congress. And I just want to thank everyone for giving me the opportunity to be a representative of the people of the 7th Congressional District. Vote charlesgraham.com. Thank you.
I think you've made it clear, and I think I already understood that, and most of us did, that the fastest growing demographic in this nation is the Latinx community, coming from multiple countries in South America, Central America, Mexico, and Spain, and perhaps we would include Portugal as well. I'm running for a federal office, not a state or a local office. And the things that the federal government can do are very different than what can and should be done at the local and state government. Most importantly is to deal with the big elephant in the room, which is immigration. And what we've seen over the past 5 or 6 or 7 years, ever since Trump ran for president and became president, was once again the denigration of Latino immigrants in the United States. We have to stop that. We have to stop that. We have to stop the language that's being used. In terms of helping the community, as I said earlier, we have multiple federal programs that target minority organizations. We have to let the minority organizations understand that these programs are available for small business, for grants, for education. And one of the things that I am very familiar with is how Congress works. I've testified as an expert witness on multiple occasions. I've worked in and around the Congress, having lived in DC for 45 years. As a congressman, I know how to get things done in Washington, and especially for the Latino community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me. First of all, I want to say That's with the Latino community in Cumberland County. I've had the opportunity to work with an organization called Renewed Counseling and Mental Health Services. And I have worked and advocated to provide funding to this organization to help individuals as far as affordable housing, as far as receiving services from the county, to make sure that the Latino community is represented well and that they are provided the items that are needed to help them to become or to be that productive member in our community. And those individuals, the Latino community, have benefited greatly under my leadership as chairman of the Cumberland County Cumberland County Commissioners. I want you to know that I work very hard for the Latino community as I will with other communities. My name is Charles Evans. I ask for your support and I ask for your vote. This